Okay, continuing on section 6.3, I'm going to finish up this fraction example we were in the middle of. So here we're going to get that 3y is equal to a negative 184, and then we're going to multiply by the reciprocal of the numeric coefficient here. It looks like division because it is. Now I could change this into negative 61 and a third, but I'm actually going to leave it as that improper fraction so that I can finish my problem. So I have 4 here is equal to, now I'm going to go back to this original equation over here, and you'll see the method to my madness here in a second. So x plus, and then I have 1/3, and then that 1/3 is going to get multiplied by a negative 184, and then those are thirds. And you see, when I multiply those two things, what I'm going to end up with is ninths, and that's why I put it into this equation, because now I'm going to add the opposite of this thing, 184 ninths, to both sides, and I'm going to do that right up here so you can see it. So 184 ninths right here, and that's going to give me 189 ninths. Now 189 ninths goes in evenly, and 9 goes into 18 two times, and 9 goes into 9 one time. So now I have my x and my y values, and so the last thing I can do is I write my ordered pair. X is equal to 21, comma, my y is equal to, and I can either write it as negative 184 thirds, or I can write it as negative 61 and 1/3. Totally up to you. But either way, that would be our solution. And remember, you can always check it, and when you do check that, you will see that absolutely that is 100% the correct answer. It works out. So at any rate, that's our final solution. And again, the answer has some fractions in it. Okay, now I want you guys to try a couple more on your own. So why don't you go ahead and write these two down and go ahead and give them a try, and then come back and see if your solutions are correct. Okay, for 23a, the first thing you need to do is put them in the same form. So I've removed the constant from this one, the second equation to the right, and the y variable to the left. Now that I have them in the same form, I need to figure out a variable to focus on to eliminate. Well, this time around, I'm going to have to multiply not just one equation, but both equations by something. So I'm going to look at the 3 and the 4 here, and the LCD of those is 12. So I'm going to make both of these equal to 12, but one of them is going to have to be a negative. So I'm going to multiply this one through by a negative 3, and this one through by a positive 4. Now you can do either way around, it doesn't matter. So that's going to give me the new second equations. Now I have a negative 12x, and I have a negative 24y, and then I have a negative 48 on the right hand side. And then my second equation, I have a 12x, and then I have a 24y, and then I have a 9 times 4, which is a 36. And now when I add these together, the 12 and the negative 12 make 0, and that's what I wanted to happen, so I'm not supposed to write that. And then a negative 24 and a positive 24 also equals 0. Now I didn't expect that to happen, so this time I want to write that, and then that equals, and a negative 48 and a positive 36, which gives me a negative 12. 0 equals negative 12 is a false statement, but remember, that is not my answer. My answer is that this is a null set, and that's my final answer. All right, moving along to the second one. Again, we're going to have to put these in the same form. So that's going to be your first step. Now, after you have them in the same form, the next thing that you might want to do is get the equations cleared. So I'm going to clear the first equation by multiplying everything through by 6, and the second equation by multiplying everything through by 2. So I'll do that, and I'll come back and we'll do the next. Okay, when I've cleared them, it's very obvious that if I just multiply the top equation through by a negative, then I have equal but opposite, and I can go for step number 3. So we have a positive 6x, and then 0 y's, and then 12 minus 9, which is 3. And now I multiply by the reciprocal here and here, and so my x is going to be equal to 1/2, and then we're going to substitute it in and solve for the y. Right, I finished the problem, and we see up here the solution 1/2 and 3, and you can take a pause and look at this solution.